Hello. It's another Sunday evening. Welcome to Off the Cuff here on MX24 as we reflect on the biggest stories in the world of sports. Coming up in tonight's edition of the show, Black Stars 2.0 is off to a rocky start after they were beaten by Mali. Ghanaians did not waste time with a post-mortem. Here, we will have our post-mortem as well and also look ahead to the second game against Qatar as we assess the beginnings of CK Akono's tenure as a Black Stars head coach. We'll also look at the Ghana Premier League. The opening fixtures have been released. Over the last few weeks, there have been hints about the 360 view of what kind of preparations have been put in place. Here tonight, we'll be hearing from a member of the Premier League committee to find out exactly what they put in place ahead of commencement of the Ghana Premier League. We'll be in France, specifically in Paris, where history was made. 19 was up against 17. In the end, somebody got 20 to level up with Roger Federer as the all-time highest number of Grand Slam winners. And it's exciting. We'll be looking at that. Another piece of history was made this time on the track. Lewis Hamilton won the Eiffel Grand Prix. That means that he's won 91. He's at par now with Michael Schumacher, and there's no doubt he's going to make history for himself in the subsequent ones. Remember, the NBA Finals is still hanging out there somewhere. It's 3-2. Somebody can clinch it or somebody can level it. Today, we'd like to hear from you, and so here's what I'll be doing. I'll be going for a break. When I come back, these are the numbers to call concerning the Black Stars. 055-033-1511 and 020-4738-481. 055-033-1511 and 020-4738-481. They say that the Black Stars is a people's team, so I'd like to hear what the people think. What are their initial impressions of the CK Akono era as a Black Stars coach? So join me after the break with your calls. And in studio, we'll be assessing Ghana after that Mali game and ahead of the Qatar game. Welcome to Off the Cuff here on MX24. See you shortly. Welcome back. This is Off the Cuff here on MX24. Thank you very much for joining us. We are doing a post-mortem on the Black Stars. Still ahead, we'll talk about the Ghana Premier League. We'll talk about the French Open, which ended today. And we'll bring you stories from the Nation League, which has been going on since last week. Remember, you can join us on the phone as we discuss the Black Stars. Our phone lines are 055-033-1511 and 020-473-8481. I'll repeat for the last time, 055 033-1511 and 020-4738-481. I'm joined in the studio by Yao Ben and Eva Otre. Hi, guys.
Hi, Samir.
Thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully you've had a good week and the weekend.
Yeah, long one, but not a good weekend.
It's been good. All right, let me cut straight to the chase. The Black Stars commenced what I call the Black Stars Reloaded. The new Black Stars under CK Akono, who decided to call a lot of new players, much to the chagrin of many older players who were hoping to make an appearance under his tenure. And the experiment started against Mali. That game played in Antalya at the tail end of the week. Ghana lost by 3-0. Not too many people were happy. I don't think there was anybody who was happy about the result. And there have been different views on exactly how things went and why the Black Stars lost. In a bit, we'll be watching the game and looking at the key moments of the game. But let me come to you guys. Ladies first. Eva, you watched that Black Stars game?
Oh, yes. Bits of it, a lot. And it was a poor outing by the Black Stars, undoubtedly. First serious game in 10 months.
Yeah.
They have been inactive for a long spell. So clearly, that affected their performance. You have a relatively new setup, new squad, new coach, trying out new players. And so there was always going to be the issue of cohesion regarding how he manages to get them to play as a team. And he did not. And so there was no organization. I mean, it was rather catastrophic on the day. I think that you couldn't see any shape. You could not clearly see what tactical formation we're playing. Players were pale shadows of themselves. Even the few good ones that are known were pale shadows of themselves on the day, were simply outclassed on the day by the Malians. It was a poor showing. But it was also perhaps a good opportunity for Coach C.K. Akono to sit back now after that game and think things through properly and decide whether whichever path he has decided to chart is the way to go. Because he's talked about how he intends to be offensive with his team and his setup and all of that. And I think that a lot of Ghanaians were looking out for that, and they didn't see that. And so that's how come the talk is it's raging so much.
So you have the game from Antalya. We've seen a couple of goals now. The first one and the second one. Malians going wide, coming in and scoring was the modus operandi. And it worked quite efficiently against the Ghanaian team. Yeah, Eva says they played without cohesion, they were disorganized. The coach said after the match that his players, he had just 2 days to work with the players, a new set of players. Most of them were playing with each other for the very first time. But how much responsibility should he take for this opening result?
Well, I mean, he called the players, so they asked him whether anybody forced him to call any players. He said, no, it's his team. For me, I saw this more like justify your inclusion for some players. And I dare say there will be like about 5 of those players who will not get close to the Black Stars again. Unless they remarkably improve their club form, they are not going to get called up. For a player to be taken off after 40 minutes in a game, it means that the player was invincible.
I'll come to the players in just a bit. But Eva, being beaten in such a manner, was this a blessing that lays bare the size of CK's task?
Well, as I said, it brings into sharp focus whatever plan he has for his team, how he intends to set up his team moving forward. He has indicated clearly that there would be a break with the past, so he's seeking to bring in fresh limbs, fresh talent, but I think it's obvious going forward that after these 2 friendlies, he would have to reconsider some of his decisions and see whether a fine blend of the old stock, exactly, a fine blend of the old stock and the new talent he seeks to bring in would be a better option for him. And I mean, on the evidence of what we saw against Mali, we could do with a little more experience. But I'm not reading too much into that because I feel that was the essence of this exercise, to see if these people that he had called in were the right crop of players from which he could get quality players to augment the squad.
So we went on to that field at Tizigi in post. Mensah, we had Fosu on the right-hand side. We had Kasim and then Nicolas Opoku playing as the centre back pair. And then in midfield, we had Thomas Partey, we had Jiku, we had Bernard Mensah. And then up front, we had Ayu, and we had Ijinasa.
So for me,
that's how we lined up.
Yeah, I didn't really know Fosu could play right back, but he did. He covered himself well. I mean, he did pretty well. For me, my issues were with Gideon Mensah. He was too slow. He didn't protect his side well.
It's quite obvious. He was skinned in that first game.
Yeah, and he looked out of his depth. It's I don't know. I gathered he had been transferred to Guimaraes and he had not played any games there. So clearly you could see that the guy was not on. So I wonder the thinking that went into inviting a player who had not really played that much. That was one. Someone like Eugene Ansah, he didn't cover himself in glory, so he's also suspect. And for me, the back line, Kasim Nuhu is slow. I don't know what. He's too slow. And he needs, maybe it becomes like Maguire, he needs somebody who is fast by him. He's too slow. And even technically, the whole team itself, the build-up was too slow. It's carried on from Kwesi Appiah's time. We always used to be very slow in our build-up. There was no urgency, there was no pace. it's the same thing happening. CK really needs to get the team to move the ball quicker. Maybe, well, you say he has only 2 days, so he didn't have time to create the roles, create the formations and whatever. But there's a lot to be done because we have a game against South Africa very soon, and we need to get our act together. I hope that against Qatar we can up our game. But some of the boys really they don't have to be near the Black Stars. Maybe they need to go and get their act together, and then we'll call them back.
If you're watching us, this is Off the Cuff here on MX24. Call us. Our lines are 055-033-1511 and 020-473-8481. You can also WhatsApp us actually on 059-2896-001, or you can just tweet me at Sammy Bartels on Twitter. Now let's go to Antalya. I'm wondering what the mood in the camp has been following that match. At least we've heard the FA president say, let's take our time, let's analyze the match and see the way forward. Let's get a first-hand account of what happened after the match and how the team is preparing for that game against Qatar. Henry Chum Asante is the communications director for the Ghana Football Association. Henry, if you can hear me, how was it like in commentary watching the Black Stars being shellacked by 3-0?
My goodness, I I think I needed to stay neutral. There was a need for me to, do my job professionally, devoid of any bias whatsoever. At some point, it was difficult, especially when the goals kept coming and we were not playing, we were not finding our rhythm, we were not, playing as a team. Nothing worked. On the day, nothing worked for the Black Stars. At some point, it was quite frustrating. But at the end of the day, I was reaching out to a bigger audience, and I am sure there were millions around the world who were watching the game who wouldn't know who I am. And so, there was always the need to do my job professionally, and I am glad that I was able to execute it flawlessly.
Ever the consummate professional. Well done. We enjoyed that commentary. How did the team take this defeat? A lot of them were debutants. And look, there was no competition. The Malians dominated end to end, and they won. What was the mood among the players and the coaching staff after the game?
I tell you what, let's be blunt. The players knew they underperformed. After the game, it was quite a crestfallen moment for these players. The Thomas Partey's, the Andre Ayew's, the Jordan Ayew's. I mean, it took a long time for them to get back to, normalcy. From the stadium to the team bus to the hotel. The bus, for instance, was as quiet as a cemetery on our way back to the hotel. Nobody would speak to you. You even want to, encourage them to just put it behind them and start thinking or focusing on the next game against Qatar, and these boys wouldn't listen because, they knew at the end of the day they disappointed themselves, disappointed Ghanaians. The performance was not good. For instance, the day was of the view that, yes, sometimes you play well, and then because of hard luck, you lose a game. But last Friday, we did not play well, created a few chances. For instance, in the first 45 minutes, we did not even have one shot on target. We had 2 shots off target. In the second half, aside Thomas Partey's 25-yard shot that flew on top of the goalpost, we did not create any decent chance in the entire 45 minutes. So as professionals, they knew their performance was below par, and it was an average output that they gave to Ghanaians and, for that matter, the football world on Friday. Again, some of them would ordinarily, hop onto the net and check what people are writing about them, and it was very, very disappointing reading some of the things that Ghanaian football fans wrote about these players. So the mood in camp, honestly, on Friday night was nothing but, disappointing. And from Saturday, I think that we did We did a recovery training Saturday, and that was when the coach took time to explain things to them. Saturday morning, he engaged them and watched the game again, and then took them through stages, and then also spoke to the defenders and the goalkeepers as regards the mistakes they committed in the game. For instance, the game that the goal you are just showing on the screens. The player who was on the left side, Gideon Mensah, allowed the Malian captain, Haidara, to bypass him, went in, and had all the time in the world to send in a cross. Nicolas Opoku and Kasim Nuhu were caught flat-footed, allowed the young Bilal to come in between them, and then stretched, as an 18-year-old boy who is able to stretch and knock the ball into the net. Goalkeeper was completely beaten, was nowhere to be found, and that was, how poor our defense was on Friday. So Friday night, Saturday morning, the mood in camp was not the best, but after Saturday afternoon's training, then the players started becoming lively. They became a bit hopeful after they spoke to the coach, after the president also engaged them, and I'm talking about the president of the FA. And then the chairman of the management committee took time to explain things to them, engaged them for about 2-3 hours. The players also came up with certain consents. They felt that, yes, indeed, we should be able to explain to Ghanaians that we are on a rebuilding exercise, and it would take time for us to get to that, winning level again. So things improved on Saturday, and then this morning we have been to training and back. The coach has had his 1-hour session with them. He's told them, the players who are starting tomorrow, so they know, how they are supposed to play and how they are supposed to, step onto the pitch and make Ghana proud. So this evening is quite okay. We just hoping that tomorrow things will work perfectly for us.
Henry, I'm asking you a 2-in-1 question here. First part of the question is, for people like Eugene Ansah and Gideon Mensah, who obviously had very bad games. Eugene was taken off first half. How are those two handling that, initial bad outing? And two, is the coach ringing in the changes for tomorrow's game against Qatar?
Yes, there will be changes. First of all, let me report that Nicolas Opoku, who hobbled off in the game against Mali, will not be available for tomorrow's game. I engaged the team doctor, Dr. Chris Adumako, a few hours ago, and he mentioned that Nicolas has not fully recovered, so it's virtually impossible for us to throw him into the game. So he's not available for selection for tomorrow's game. That's one change that would even happen before kickoff. Now, you spoke about Eugene Ansah. Yes, this is a young man who, left Ghana very early, played a few games for Liberty Professionals before going to Israel, has been in Israel for the past 4 or 5 seasons. Not a household name, but he looked brilliant in training on Tuesday. He's one of the players who arrived early, so he looked brilliant on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I'm sure that was why the coach decided to play him or start him in the game against Mali. Unfortunately, I think the stage is too big for him. He was overawed by the stage. Gideon Mensah, who also won his first cup in November last year in Cape Coast against South Africa, did not also show up. He did not come to the party. Not just him, even the big boys. I don't want to believe that Thomas Partey was impressive. I don't want to believe Andre Ayew was outstanding. Neither do I want to believe that Jordan Ayew was excellent. I mean, let's be fair. None of our players played to their level. And after the game, they confessed to the coach and apologized to the coach and said that indeed there is another opportunity to get things right, to right the wrongs on Monday against Qatar.
So which people are getting the opportunity tomorrow? Are we
what I have seen in training?
Yeah.
Yes, what I have seen in training, there is likely to be a few changes. Bernard Mensah also played, but after the 45 minutes, Emmanuel Lomte was introduced for Bernard Mensah. But whatever it is, whichever way you look at it, Joseph Edu is likely to start tomorrow's game. I'm not sure I'm not sure what CK intends doing as far as the right back position is concerned. Because, Sami, you know that he played Tariq Fosu in that position. Tariq is not a right back. Tariq is either a left or right winger. But because he did not want to expose the young Benson Annan, who is only 19 years old, against an experienced Malian team, he decided to start Tariq Fosu. He was not that bad, and maybe if he decides to go for the flat three in tomorrow's game, then Tariq will play as a right winger and not a right fullback. I also foresee some changes in the midfield. Yes, Thomas Partey will stay, Andre Ayew will stay, but it is likely that Jiku, the Strasbourg player who played in midfield, even though he is a defender, is likely to move back to the defense, and then Baba Idrisu may start tomorrow's game. That is what I have witnessed between yesterday and this evening. But I am not sure exactly what the coach wants to do. Normally in his technical meetings with the players, where he tells them which player will start and who will not start. Management is not involved.
Harry, my final question.
He releases the squad.
What is the objective tomorrow against Qatar? Qatar is a very dangerous side. They are the reigning nation champions. I've seen them play, and look, if we are looking for redemption against them, we better come prepared tomorrow. What is the objective? What objective has the coach set for himself? Is it more of the same, trying out his players, and that a win is not a priority? Or that has changed after the first game?
At this point, a win is a priority, Sammy. He can't afford to gamble again. In my chat with him this evening, together with Jordan Ayew, Jordan alluded to the fact that they are professionals. They know they did not perform well against Mali. It's time for them to, put back the smiles on the faces of Ghanaians. It's time for them to go in there and fight. That's what he said. Those were his words. So, and the coach also believes that he cannot lose 2 games on the Spain as a new manager of the side. So what it means is that the players, the technical team are all looking at going out there to fight for a good result. It is an international friendly. There will be no other opportunity aside these 2 games before we play against Sudan in November. So they just can't afford to slip one more time. Qatar is a very good side, as you mentioned. Unfortunately, they traveled to Turkey without some of their key players, but they still have majority of the players who helped them to win the Asian Championship in their squad. I happened to watch their training this evening before I even went to watch that of the Black Stars. So, and they have a manager who understands their philosophy. Now they have invested a lot into the game. There are a lot of Spanish professionals who are in Qatar changing the face of Qatarian football. And this man moved from the youth teams through to the national team, and he led them to win the Asian Championship. So they wouldn't come cheap. But the players also believe that if you have Partey, you have Jordan, you have Andre in your team who have seen it all played at the highest level, then Qatar shouldn't be a problem. So they want to go all out tomorrow and fight for a win and impress Ghanaians as well.
Henry, thank you very much for your time. We wish the Black Stars all the best. That was Henry Asante Chumi,
Thanks for having me,
Director of
Sami.
Communication for the Ghana Football Association. And he was giving a rundown of what's happening in camp after Ghana lost against Mali. The Black Stars take on Qatar, the Asian champions, tomorrow. Let me read a few of your messages which are coming via our WhatsApp number. Our WhatsApp number is 059 2896 001. 059 2896 001. I'm still going to take your calls on 055-033-1511 and 020-4738-481. First, let me read your messages. This one says, "Hi, my name is Edward Fosu. I thank God that Ghana lost to Mali. We should take our time for what?" He says. The Black Stars need to really bounce back against Qatar tomorrow. We don't necessarily need to score goals or play so well, but we just need them to at least put in some passes, move the ball around, and try some shots at least. We are rebuilding, but we must see some prospects and some commitments from the team. Kojo from Ayarifa. I have Thomas, who has been on the line for a while. He's calling us from Ashaiman. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Sorry for keeping you on the line. So let's
No
hear
problem.
from you. What are your thoughts about the Black Stars?
Yes, it destroys my heart a lot. I didn't really get the opportunity to view the match, live stream it, or something else. But I just saw a live score of it, and I was like, no, this can't be right. So I checked it for myself, and it was true. I was like, really, all these call-ups that were driving on the internet about this one is being called up, this one is being called up, and we lost the spirit. I was just down to earth, and then I posted it over. And I'm happy. I'm happy the director of communications to the team is saying there'll be a couple of changes. There has to be.
All right.
They don't really come back with another lose again. They will feel it in their brains if they do that.
Okay.
So I'll just say,
Thank you very much for calling. You can also call us 055-033-1511 and 020-473-8481. Anna Somashaman says, seriously, I didn't see the reason behind CK's decision for this call-up. He should have kept, please don't call me on WhatsApp, just send the messages. He said he should have kept at least the squad Kwesi Appiah used for the qualifiers. Total change affects the rhythm of every team. Bad call, you say. So you've heard the director of communications. There'll be shake-up before tomorrow. Now the priority has changed. You want to win. We don't have a choice, do you?
Well, it's good. You don't have a choice. You're right. But the point is that it's good to see. Let's have a response. Let's get a reaction from the team. That's all I'm looking for. Even if they do not win against Qatar, I want to see a response so that I know that these players are conscious of the fact that there's a lot at stake and they have an opportunity to don the national colors and do the nation proud. That's what I want to see. I don't really need to see a win because I foresee a tougher opposition in the Qatari. But I just, and the changes, bringing the changes, it's a foregone conclusion. I want to see that there is some positive movement towards improvement.
Yeah, before I come to you, let me go to Osebana. He knows he's calling us from Nkoko in the Eastern region. Osei.
Yes, sir.
Charlie, so what are your
Good
thoughts?
evening.
Good evening.
You know, this team, it's as if I'm in support of the woman there.
Eva, yes.
Total transformation in the team will cost much. You see, of all I've seen ever since I started following football, what I've realized is that we bring in small players to join the senior team, and then with time they cope with the system. Here lies the case, total transformation. How will this team put the line of the normal Black Stars we know? So this team, if CK Akono is going to maintain this team, I don't think even we will qualify for the African Cup of Nations.
Osei, thank you very much. All the way from Nkoko. Joe from Tema says the Black Stars were not inspiring. CK hasn't had time with them, and the risk here is until he has a consistent team that play his systems, things will not significantly change. Aside it being the national team, I don't have a reason to watch them as passionately as I used to, he says. And we are looking for transformation for tomorrow. Are you impressed by the changes Henry spoke about?
I mean, it was obvious that the centre-back pairing had to go. They were not good enough. They were flat. Someone like Gideon Mensah, I'm not sure he'll play again tomorrow. The Tariq Fosu was why I was wondering why he called only one right back. Because if you call a young man in Benjamin Annan without any cover, it didn't really make any sense. I know Joseph Edu can play there, but he's not a right back. And so the call-ups begin to bring... You begin to think about call-ups again and wonder whether a lot of thinking went into it.
Well, somebody will say for the right back position that we have the wrong Tariq in that position.
Yeah,
perhaps
Tariq
we should look for a different Tariq. This is Off the Cuff here on MX24. Keep your messages coming on WhatsApp. Keep your messages coming on Twitter. I'll be very happy to read your messages. I'm going for my next break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Ghana Premier League, plus Nations League highlights from Europe, and then the French Open here on Off the Cuff station. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Off the Cuff here on MX24. we have the final say when it comes to sports, and we are bringing you the biggest stories from the world of sports. The biggest stories, of course, for Ghanaian interest is the Black Stars of Ghana, who got off to a losing start in their first game in 10 months when they lost against Mali. More of your messages are coming. I'll take a few more calls before we move to our next subject. Remember, the lines are 055-033-1511 and 020-4738-481. Maxwell says Black Stars will bounce back against Mali. Our defense were very porous. Likewise, the midfield. My team will be deadly if they find our rhythm as a team. And he says Black Stars for life, which is refreshing to note that people are willing to support the Black Stars, whatever the case. F0, the painter from Chibizongo, says, I don't blame the coach because he didn't have much time with them. And the selection was not that bad. But the players were playing like they are the ones playing for the very first time. So that's what he says. Samuel is calling us from Labone here in Accra. Sam, what are your thoughts on the Black Stars?
Yeah, I don't want to be too critical on the Black Stars, but, at least they have got to work the goalkeeper and keep the goalkeeper on his toes. And so, therefore, I think, the Malians, they were quick, they were decisive, and as such, they were ruthless on the finish. I think it was a fantastic breakaway each time they had a chance to score. And to us, we didn't make the most of the chances that came our way. And, to lose by such a margin, it is, an absolute disgrace. And so going forward, I think, they should improve on, their performance in the Qatar match.
Well, thank you very much. I have another caller from OEB. Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Please, what's your name?
My name is Melvin.
Okay, so what are your thoughts? Share with us.
First of all, I want to tell Ghanaians not to press the panic button yet. It's early days. The likes of Pep Guardiola and then the Ancelotti's all lost their first game as coaches, and then they want to have to be successful. So I want to tell Ghanaians to relax and follow the team. I feel, yes, they didn't really put up a fight against Mali. They were just down and nothing. But I feel with time they'll come good.
Well said, well said. Thank you very much. Well, not everybody is that optimistic. Christian Blebo from Denu said, in the voter agent says, I don't trust the Black Stars team. And we should forget about them and cut the salary for CK. Sorry, who? I think I have a call on the line. I have a caller all the way from Obuasi. Mohammed, hi, good evening.
Good evening, boss.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
I'll be very grateful if you spoke up, Mohammed. What are your thoughts on the Black Stars?
Well, it's about the coach.
What about the coach?
Yeah. When Ishika could not start the Black Stars, I think he was brought in whilst the senior ones were playing with him together. So why is he? Why did he want to? Call new ones throughout. He should blend. The old ones with the new ones. It has never done anywhere. Even Barcelona are doing it. PK, the boosters, and the others are so. So we shouldn't. Be joking with our hearts.
Okay, Mohammed said it right. He says they shouldn't joke with our hearts. The man is serious about his football. Daniel from Wa Kelly says, good evening to you and your panelists. The fans should tap cool. This current state of the Black Stars. CK has a lot of work to do, says Kelly Daniel from Obuasi. Let me read this other one. This is from Gideon Nilmo from Kumundi. He says that Black Stars can break Ghanaian hearts. Pow! By the way, it's a wake-up call to them to perform better. And you say you love MX24 TV. Keep doing the good job. So thank you very much. Please don't have a broken heart. The Black Stars have a second chance tomorrow. So let me read this one that came from Ebenezer Ahen. He says, looking at how the new Black Stars played, I think we have a lot of work to do for tomorrow's match. So tomorrow's match is coming up. If I'll take your final words on the Black Stars. You have said you won't see transformation, but a win wouldn't be bad, would it?
Oh, a win would be heartwarming for everybody, and it would be an indication of good things to come.
Yeah. What are your expectations?
I'll take an ugly win. We can't lose again because already people
That
already
is
have broken.
assuming the coach decides to play ugly, because he's already said he wants to play expansive football.
Yeah, but you
which
see,
didn't work against Mali.
What you need to understand, maybe he's not getting to know his players. You have slow players, you want to play a high line. There are things that are basic. He needs to work on the basics. If he thinks that they all play at a certain level, then he's deceiving himself. I just hope for an improved performance tomorrow.
Well, yeah, hopes for an improved performance. I am asking, where would the goals come from? Because we didn't create a lot of chances, and when we got the chances, we looked quite lethargic. So the expectations are this high. And you know what, Ghanaians, sometimes we pretend we don't love the Black Stars, but I know you do. I know you really care about the Black Stars. So let's be optimistic, and let's give the coach and the players all the support that they need. Let me just switch quickly to the other story, big story in Ghana football, which is the announcement of the fixtures for the 2020 and 2021 Ghana Premier League season, which is scheduled to kick off on the weekend of November 13th to 16th at match venues across the country. Ashanti Gold, Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Media MLC will all begin the new season at home, whilst Hearts of Folk, and you can see them on your screen with that much hyped jersey of theirs, Karela FC, my good friend Eloy Amande. I wish you all the best. Dreams FC, a.k.a. the presidential team, it's a bit like Republicans back in the day, Nkrumah's team, will be on the road on match day 1 of the season. So you can see Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Busuan do have to welcome neighbours Elmina Sharks. That's a proper derby game. With a game between the Diana Stars and Hearts of Folk promising to be perhaps what you describe as the match of the week. The upcoming season is expected to run through to the weekend of July 16th to 18, 2001. Things have never really been the same for the league since the break that came with the expose into Ghana football. Are you looking forward to the start of the Ghana Premier League?
Oh, yeah, I'm happy that we are starting because, I mean, the boys cannot be at home throughout. They're getting rusty. We also need players for the Black Stars. So
in fact, not just the Black Stars, all the other national teams.
Yeah, on the national teams, we need them. So we need them to be active. And it's good. At least we get to get close. Even with COVID and with the 25%, I believe that we'll be well-behaved and we'll enjoy our football.
So we said, 25% attendance?
Attendance.
Before COVID, people didn't go to the stadium, to be honest with you. We've tried all sorts of things to get people to come to the stadium.
Well, I mean, I found it a bit concerning that we're even letting in fans, considering the fact that globally they are playing leagues, the elite leagues without fans. So I'm more interested in the COVID preventive measures that the FA has instituted to ensure that...
Do you think people will show up?
They
will show up.
I'll show up.
Okay.
So people will show up. No, you see, it's just like the Black Stars. We don't love them. They'll go to the stadium.
They will show up when their teams are playing.
Yeah, they will.
So I just hope that the Ghana Football Association has put in the right measures because we've heard news of a second spike in Europe and the rest of the world. So you don't want football to be the cause of a spike in numbers in this country. I think we've managed it so well so far. Let's ensure that we are all playing in a safe space.
That's what we would expect. So we expect the players to follow all the protocols. We expect various teams to follow all the protocols. Unfortunately, the attitude in Ghana right now concerning COVID is not the very best. Everybody is laid back and all. So I guess we'll just leave it here. We were hoping for an opportunity to speak to a member of the Premier League committee. Perhaps we can do that next week. I'm going to go for a break. When I come back, we'll go to Europe. We'll look at some of the outcomes from the UEFA Nations League. England have again started hyping themselves because they beat Belgium by 2-1, and they are talking about resilience and how good they are, and how if this was in a major tournament, they would have made mincemeat out of one of the. Well, Belgium is ranked number 1, so the number 1 team in the world has been beaten by England. If you don't know about that, so we'll be looking at all these results. And then we'll also be looking at the French Open. I think I have clearance to continue, so I might as well just continue and run through some of the big scores. Spain beat Switzerland by 1 goal to 0. Ukraine beat Germany by Germany beat Ukraine by 2-1. Bosnia and Herzegovina and the Netherlands drew goalless. Poland and Italy drew goalless. That match is still apparently ongoing. England beat Belgium by 2-1, and that's the noise. England has beaten the number 1 ranked team in the world. Mason Mount with a big deflection that went in, and then Rashford, who is a new MBE, member of the British Empire, got a penalty after Lukaku put Belgium ahead. You watched that game?
I watched it. I thought that the Belgians had good opportunities and always fell short in the final third. Too many touches on the ball in the final third. I think that it was a game that at best should have ended in a draw. But I won't take anything away from England. I think that, they set up very well. They pressed very hard. They possessed the ball well. And they got the results they needed. Even the Manchester United flops today. Yeah, even the Manchester United flops performed creditably. So I think that Southgate should be happy about this. I wouldn't urge them to be touting their credentials yet, but I think that they are showing glimpses of a very good side.
Three Lions, would you consider them an elite team these days?
Well, I think if you look at the profile of the players they have these days, the age and the youth is on their side. I mean, you look at most of their boys, they're under 25, and they're only going to get better. So that's why I see England as a potential threat, even at the next World Cup. But it's work in progress. And Southgate has pleasantly surprised me. His tactical acumen is up there. You know, we don't rate him. We think he's just one of those because we remember what he did with Burrow and all, getting sacked left, right, center. But with the England team, he seems to be listening, or he seems to have a good backroom stuff, and he's doing some good because his three back, the players understand their roles, they play perfectly. It's amazing. He's doing a very good job.
And well, he seems now willing to, listen to calls for change. I saw Grealish play against Wales, and he was fantastic.
Very, very well.
And then Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored as well.
Yeah, and I read a piece from his dad. It was so emotional when his dad was talking about how people wrote his son off, and now he's scoring on his debut.
I'll tell you the game I enjoyed. Seeing Ivory Coast draw against Belgium was a very good game. And there I was saying Ivory Coast.
Belgium beat him.
Yeah, but still, Ivory Coast drawing against Belgium. We are losing against Mali.
It was just Benteke and Star were playing that game.
Chelsea is one of them.
No, but it's true. Benteke and Batshuayi were playing. It's not.
So there's France and Portugal, which is goalless. We'll let you know that result before we move out of here. So that will be the football for tonight. I'm going for a break. When I come back, even if you don't like tennis, stay on, because this is the stuff of legend. We come and talk about how the women's draw in the French Open ended and how the men's draw went. It was two of the greatest players to have ever picked up a racket facing off earlier on today. We'll discuss that outcome and more when we come back after this final break. Stay tuned. This is MX24. You're watching Off the Cuff. We're almost there. This is Off the Cuff here on MX24. And wherever you're watching us from across the country, thank you very much for making us a part of your Sunday evening. We are rounding up the show, and the final stages will go to the French Open, Roland Garros in Paris, where there's been a lot of action over the weekend. Let's start with the women's draw. And the new kid on the block, who is Iga Swiatek? He just comes in the rank number 54 in the world and swoops in she doesn't drop a set. And she wasn't even a favorite against Kenin.
Not at all. Only 19 years. Yeah. Only 19 years. The first Polish to ever be on that stage, win a Grand Slam, and she won it in style. Yeah. I mean, the fluidity of her play is amazing. Her movement on the court, her defense is incredible. She's just a delight to watch, a refreshing break. I mean, and it tells you that with the women's game, it could be anybody's game any day. I mean, because look at the big names. And they toppled between she and Kenan. They took out Simona Halep, Kvitova. Yeah. Two great players
in the semi-finals against Kvitova.
Exactly. I mean,
against
so
Halep.
It was every game. She took every game, one game at a time, and she just enjoyed being there on the courts. It was graceful to watch.
Let's settle on the men's final. Finally, some said it was a demolition job.
Oh yeah.
Some said it was annihilation. But the consensus among everybody was this outcome was unexpected.
Yeah.
Well, Nadal on clay is something else.
But straight sets?
Well, you see, one thing you have to realize that Djokovic was struggling getting to. He always used to kind of warm up before he would lose a few sets, before he warm up, even in the semi-final, before he warms up. And Nadal, it was an annihilation. I mean, if you look at Nadal, he didn't waste time. I think he realized that Djokovic was slow to come out, so he decided to settle it. But for a big girl in the first set, I never anticipated it.
So this was the cold Roland Garros. It's getting colder.
You know, they said, oh, because of the time of the year, the ball will not bounce as high. All the experts will say, oh, so Nadal might look shaky. Well, he didn't drop a set.
He's the undisputed King Kong on clay.
Yes.
Say what you might say as a Federer fan, but
well,
look, the guy is great.
I'm a Federer fan. I make no apologies. And Sammy, what irks me about all of this is that so you're gonna make a comparison between Federer and Nadal, and between the two of them, 20 each.
Yes.
And Nadal has won 13 of the 20. I think that we should contextualize. That is why that is why on any day I will go for Federer. I mean, because he's an all-rounder. He's done it all. Everywhere, on every surface.
You're entitled to this, and I respect that. I guess in many ways, it's almost like the Messi Ronaldo situation, where people look at the stats and they say, enjoy greatness.
Now, I'm disappointed in Djokovic. I am just disappointed. No, he was,
Djoko,
you see, because let's not forget the fact that he was also on the brink of history.
Well, he might as well
would
win
have made
4 more
history,
and go past these
being
guys.
the only player to have won 2 Grand Slams, like that, in his career. And he missed out on that. Well, and he didn't even put up a fight. That is what upsets me the most.
Before the tournament, before the final, I read on. He said, "What happens when an unstoppable force meets an unmovable object?"
The
unmovable object was still there. I mean, now the unstoppable force met an unmovable object.
No, it took what, the third set for him
to come out.
for there to be a reaction of any sort from him.
Errors was too many. I don't know what happened.
At the end of the second set, 36 unforced errors
well,
from him.
He's been told to watch his temper, watch the emotions. He says that's just how he played. But chickens came home to roost. Very obvious.
But you see, when you got the reaction, when you got the animated Djokovic, then then you could see that he was finally out of his shell.
Say what you may, Nadal is still around. He will win a few more. Federer is still managing his schedule in order to come into games the strongest. Let's see if the great man can win at least one before he retires. But I guess he's in the same boat kind of like as Serena Williams, just trying one more and it's not working. I have just a couple of minutes to go. Remember that Game 6 of the 2020 NBA Finals between the Lakers and the Heat is tonight. And with all the emotions surrounding Kobe Bryant and everything, the question is, will they clinch it or will the Heat level it at 3 or right now it's 3-2? Yeah, what's the sense you get?
Well, I think Lakers should take it. But they had it in Danny Green, wide open, 3-pointer, hit it and win a championship. He flubbed his life.
Yeah.
After LeBron had 40 points, I think this time around they have to. Maybe LeBron has to take more responsibility and not trust his team. But I believe they'll clinch it today. It's not going to go to a 7th game, no.
So the force is with them?
Yes, the force is with them. They have to take it. Everything works for them. Kobe's there, everything. LeBron needs to get his ring.
Eva, you're not much of a basketball fan.
Not really.
But what do you think?
I would go for any team that has LeBron.
Okay.
Any day.
So the Lakers it is. Yeah, thank you very much, Eva. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, wherever you joined us from, for making us a part of your Sunday. We'll bring you even better content next week here on Off the Cuff. Have a fantastic week.